Okay, good. Hello everyone, welcome to today's Meshery development meeting, and we'll be starting off with a newcomers introduction. So Hacktoberfest is approaching, and yeah, we'll have a lot of newcomers in coming weeks and in October month especially. So starting with today, we have Deepesha. I think Deepesha, you have joined the call for the first time, right? If I'm not wrong, like I always
No, I had joined last week.
Okay. Yeah, I said like I'm very bad at remembering.
No,
names.
that's fine. That's fine.
So Shubham, is it your first time? Or again, I made a mistake? Think I think Shubham has some problems with his audio. So probably if you have joined this call for the first time, then it will be great if you can put in the chat and give us a brief brief of yours so that we know about you a bit more. And looking at the list again, I don't think there is anyone new here. So let's get rolling with our first item, which is about the Hacktoberfest preparation. And
here's a new member.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Oh yes. That is fantastic. What would the you guys are navigating the streets of
Puebla. That's
okay.
Cholula, Puebla in Mexico.
Okay.
I have some pyramids 30 minutes from here.
Nice. Okay. All right. Traffic is light this morning, I assume. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, sorry, I had to this parent teacher conference, but yeah, I'll grab my computer as soon as we arrive. But yeah, let's proceed.
Oh, nice. Very good. Very good. We got some GraphQL, I think, coming up a little bit later. So good. Yeah. And then, by the way, I don't know if so Shubham Shah, Mr. Shah, who's on the call, if your audio is working, feel free to say hi for a moment and just introduce yourself. It's always nice to get to know everybody, give everybody a chance to get to know you. And Shubham, if your audio isn't working, feel free to just say hi in chat too. That'll work. I did catch your hi in the Slack chat, which was great. So nice. Okay, Abhi, back to you.
Yeah. So back to Debopriya. You should be sharing your screen or
no, it's fine. You can continue sharing. So we're back with the community meeting once more. We'll be having an event on Friday. So the main focus of this event is to conduct a sort of a workshop for first-time contributors who are relatively new to open source. It'll be like the timing is just perfect because we are just starting off with Hacktoberfest, and the main purpose of this event will be to guide newcomers, guide first-time contributors through their entire process. We are planning to conduct demonstrations of how to use Git, how to use GitHub, how to make your first PR, and mostly surrounding our projects. So talking about that, we have a couple of volunteers who will be speaking at this event. But I know on this call particularly, we have had contributors who have been contributing to our projects from a long time. So if any one of you is interested to speak for some time in this event, maybe in the form of a demonstration, maybe show something on Meshery UI or anything you'd like, or just talk about your experience regarding open source, something that'll be helpful for first-time contributors, you can volunteer right now as well. We can give you a slot in the meeting and you can take it forward from there. And apart from that, I've also prepared a doc for brainstorming issues for Hacktoberfest. So it is categorized into the different organizations we have and further into the different repositories. So if you guys have any feature requests or any bugs that you have noticed, which are simple to solve, which we can create issues for them and we can assign them to all the contributors who will be coming in the next month. So add your list over here. Anyone on the call is anyone is, feel free to add that, is what I'm saying. So yeah, that's all from me about Hacktoberfest. And if anyone of you do want to speak at the event, please reach out right now. You can tell me on Slack as well. I'll see that you get a spot. Thank you.
Hi, I could speak at the event, but like what all could I cover? Like what can I talk about?
So okay, I'll you can talk about the non-code contributions because you do have something
Okay.
over there as well, because that is also a very important part of open source projects.
Right.
I'll discuss that with you a little bit later today and we
Right.
can. Yeah.
Sure. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, Deepesha, for volunteering and coming on the top to provide some talks. So, yep, that's very great. We are approaching Oktoberfest and you all are welcome. And I mean, yeah, just contribute this week. I mean, the next month. So, yeah. Next is Ruturaj about the backend for catalog for local provider.
Can I go after this one? My server is starting.
Okay, that's fine. We can move to Harkirat then. You are there, Harkirat, right?
Yeah, I'm there actually. So I have fixed the meshery-ctl behavior. So the current behavior was like the user wasn't able to view and delete the configurations on the base of the ID. So I have fixed that, and now the user can view and delete the configuration, like all pattern design and whatsoever, like application filters on the base of the ID that we provide them. That's a small update from my side.
Nice. Hey, Harkirat, do you have, just trying to catch up here, do you have an example? So you can view and delete the configurations of a given, is this for designs or
It's for all the three configuration we have, like applications, filters, and patterns.
Oh, nice.
Which
If-
wasn't
I
the
suspect-
behavior. Yeah.
I think there was already what additions did you made over it? I mean, there were
So,
already delete by ID and delete multiple patterns by ID. So
I didn't found one. Like I already talked with Aditya, like the alpha, like the delete was, I think, upon the the -f flag with which delete the pattern. I don't know how does it work, but when I talked with alpha, so he said that it's a great addition. So I started working on it.
oh, I see.
Yeah.
I mistook it as a meshery server thing, but it is
Okay.
meshery-ctl update. Okay, yeah.
That's great. Harkirat, we don't have to spend too much longer on this, but do you know, so if someone enters in like meshery-ctl system pattern view, and they
It's
don't
like-
specify,
It's like meshery-ctl pattern view kind of.
yep, if they don't specify an ID or a name of a pattern, what's the behavior? How close is the behavior to
so
the
it's-
performance, to meshery-ctl performance, or perf rather?
I really don't know about that rough
Okay.
thing.
Okay, then we probably do need to follow up on this then, because the UX needs, I think we talked last time you brought this up, the UX needs to be consistent with meshery-ctl perf and perf profile, because the user can search for specific performance profiles. They can enter it by name or ID, and then they can get performance test results based on that. And there's a particular style style of user experience that's followed there, where they'll get like a list of potential matches, or they'll get a list of all results for a given profile. And yeah, to the extent that we can mimic that user experience and keep that consistent, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So will you open another issue to track this?
Yeah, I would open another issue and also
Nice.
talk with Alpha regarding the perf thing.
Oh, thank you much.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Harkirat. Ruturaj, do you have the thing up now?
I think I'll let you know in the chat. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Just started. Oh, amazing. Just started. So, let's. Okay. So this PR. Yeah. So this PR was for including the catalog for local provider. So right now I'm stuck at a place where I'm getting this error. If somebody can help me, it says requested element is null, which the schema doesn't allow. But when I go to the API, so the API is working just fine. It's everything is under /catalog, and yeah, there is nothing null here. I have removed all the nulls, but it still says this. If somebody can help me with that, or if I go to the design settings.
If you made any graphical changes in the front end, then that needs to be compiled with the relay compiler. So maybe that's because the schema does not allow is coming because the schema mismatch maybe there due to the changes
No,
in the
I didn't make any
adjustments.
changes to GraphQL. This is the API responds to the exact. I mean, the schema of the API responds the same as what we get on, remote provider, and remote provider is working just fine.
Oh, I see.
So this is one thing that I've been doing.
Yeah, I wonder if those nil sets, not null, but the nil sets for location or catalog data. I don't know if that's just a random guess.
You can the catalog data, maybe location.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
It's possible. By the way, as Ruturaj looks over this and shares, I'll just share some context for everyone. There's an emergent Meshery catalog that we've spoken about a number of times on this call. It's at meshery.io/catalog. And well, there's a number of, so anyway, we're hoping that catalog is full of content that's useful to people and helps them get value from the project out of the box. We're also hopeful that it serves as a venue for anyone to share their content. Content meaning like an infrastructure design, like a Kubernetes configuration, a service mesh deployment, an application deployment. Maybe someone has imported a Helm chart and they've modified it and they want to export and share that. That's another example. So it could just be an app, a sample app. And so as users go to create that content, create those designs or create a WebAssembly filter, what's the other one? Or create a sample app that they might want to share it. And so Ruturaj is working toward making sure that any public facing catalog content also shows up in Meshery UI so that it's at the user's fingertips.
Okay, so I'll just look at what this problem is. Mostly done by today itself.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So just, for completeness there, for fullness, I don't know if anybody has the UI open. It's probably worth looking at it for a moment just to ensure that everybody is on the same page. also to let people know that, one of the things that Ruturaj is giving thought to is like, so this is just an instance of Meshery that I'm sharing with you all. He's giving thought to how to ensure that public facing catalog content shows up in Meshery UI. That's what I just mentioned a moment ago. So how do patterns or designs like these that are published here and people can download here and import into Meshery, how do we help them sort of forego that step and just make those public designs readily available here? That's kind of his current, I think, challenge. But he's also looking at it from, I think I have an old session. Or I'm not even running my server. So, but the other challenge is to look at it from the other perspective. So if someone has been using Meshery, they've been working on creating an application or a design, if they want to share it with the world, what mechanism can they use to do that? Today, that looks like they can download it from Meshery and go over and share it in the catalog. Ruturaj is giving consideration to making that a little easier with like a click of the button. So anyway, if any of that topic interests you, Ruturaj is someone to go have a chat with. He's actively soliciting help, as you can see. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Yash is not here in this call. So let me check last time and no. So let's move over this topic and go to Pranav up on updates on adapter version not being displayed.
I'm sharing my screen.
Sure.
So the problem is, like, whenever you run Meshery connects to its adapters, which helps you to deploy and use a lot of the capabilities of different service meshes. So the problem was that in the dashboard, from where you can ping any of the adapters and understand its connectivity, the version of the adapter was not visible. And this problem is not from the UI side, but from the adapter side, which I'll explain right now. So I am running Meshery on Kubernetes, and it's the latest version. And all the adapters are like currently running on my instance. So as we can see, only couple of them are only two of them are currently showing the version, that is this and Traffic Mesh. The other ones are not showing. So why this is because there is an API/system/adapters which returns this information which was stored in the Meshery server, which was when taken from each of the adapter was stored in Meshery server, and then it's returned back to the UI through this URL through this API. Now the problem is that information is itself not sent by the adapters to the gRPC messages which we do between the adapter and the Meshery server. Now what the problem is, it's in the workflow. Like, let me first tell you what happens. So whenever we are building any of the adapters, so we are using this new workflow that is multi-platform. What it does is that it uses our Docker file, which is this, and builds the platform, each of the adapter. And what it requires is this version and commit SHA as an argument. And then it uses that to update the value in the main.go file over here. And then it is just sent to the Meshery server. So this update is not happening because these arguments are not passed in this workflow, which is over here. Like, as you can see, the argument which we are passing is git stripped version, git version, and release channel. But in reality, we require version and git commits, and since we are not passing it, so it's not getting updated, and hence we're seeing that problem. So I'll just update this. It just requires a little bit of tweaking in this workflow for each of the adapter. So once we do that over here and then it start working, this is the first issue which I wanted to tell. We can also see, like, we can see the same thing over here, that the version is not being sent. So that is the first thing. The second thing which I discovered, that like, even though we are able to see the version of this app mesh and traffic mesh, but this is incorrect, because if we see the latest version of traffic mesh, it is 0.6.1. but we are seeing something else like 0.5, which is not correct. It's basically due to that workflow only. So once we update that, then it will be fixed. The third thing which I wanted to discuss, which I discovered while working on this, was the console adapter is not working. It is because its container is not starting, and that is because its image was not built properly, and that was because this Docker file is incorrect, because like this Docker file is quite outdated, as it hasn't got any updates for the past few months. So we basically need to update it with the other Docker file which we are using across other adapters. So once we update that and just use this thing, then it should work. This is the third thing I wanted to discuss. And one last thing which I discovered was that for the app mesh adapter, this is also failing. And the reason for this is, as we can see, actually in the main.go file, right over here. Actually, we are not importing a package, and because of that it's failing, we need to update this as well. So actually, there were a couple of things, so I'll just update one by one. The first thing I'll do is just fix that that workflow for all the adapters, and then we can tackle each of these one by one. So any feedback on this?
Yeah, so I was also having this issue with the console adapter in my Docker extensions, maybe because I was using a previous image, but when I was on call with Lee, and he pulled the latest image for Docker extension, and I think it pulled latest everything, and that time to the console adapter worked. So like is the it is breaking for a specific version, or after some particular version, for everything, for every other version it's breaking?
I think I just used meshery-ui system start, and it did pull the latest image. So if I just see, so it's failing on the stable latest only. So
it means that Docker extensions doesn't pull the latest one.
I think so. I haven't figured that. I've not looked into that, so I'm not sure about it. But definitely, it's failing on the stable latest. So because I'm running the latest version currently, so as you can see, the console is on the stable latest. We just need to figure out like why the image is not being properly. That's the only hurdle in all the adapters currently. And majority of them would require that update in the multi-platform this thing, so that the right things are sent to the image. Any feedback?
Well, just a quick clarification of what you'd said about the adapter versions not displaying the not displaying the correct version in Meshery UI. You'd pointed to a workflow, an update needed in the workflow. Is that that build number or that release number is baked in? Is it that we're not baking that into the build arguments for?
Yeah. We have to just add two arguments. Like we are not using any of these in a Docker file. We require the version and git commits like this two thing. These are the two required arguments. So we just need to update that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice.
So just look into them.
There's also this, we're probably, if Divine is here, and so we might, he's going to talk about compatibility matrix, I think. And there's some interesting things to note about the adapters specifically. So I'll wait until he brings up that topic. But Pranav, no naysayers here as to what you presented. So it sounds like you're on the right path.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, next is mine. So basically, it's a suggestion for for having a configuration page because it is not following the project standards we have. That whenever we press any tab, we have a page here, and but for we have no page for a configuration. So yeah, this is a suggestion I want to give that we should have something for a configuration page. So yeah, I want to suggest this. And Lee, Abhi, anyone want to say about this?
Yeah, you were just saying, hey, the empty state here is less than appealing or informative.
Yeah, I want to say that we have something for every page we have something for configuration, we have something for performance, but when we press the configuration, we have
Oh,
nothing. So because so that breaks the kind of consistency, I think so, because I mean we should have, and for a tab page, I think we should have something that defines the actual page, that what this page wants to say, what configuration means actually. So yeah, I want to just add a suggestion that I think we should have something about this.
yeah. Does anyone else have perspectives there?
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion, by the way. To the some items to be displayed on the configuration item click. At least what is configuration? What do we support? We can provide the list of. We can provide the categories, as we said, like applications, patterns, and filters. A very brief of what they do and what we have, and some. I mean, hrefs or short links to that. Going to these individual configuration items. So.
Yeah, one of the things that Pranav had recently worked on is a summary of, well, it's a summary of a count of different elements, different things. That's another thought. So if you were to click on, you'd said life cycle, like it might be that actually there's it might, so right now, do you have all the adapters loaded or no adapters loaded?
I have not added any adapter for now.
Okay, makes sense. So yeah, it'll be interesting to look at it when you have all the adapters, what it displays to you, because it should. I think it has a selector that says like which adapter do you want to work with. In this case, since you don't, it's indicating that you should go configure one. Having said that, we might want to look at, oh man, yeah, I don't know. We've gone back and forth on this a little bit. Like one nice thing, there's an open issue. There's a feature request that was opened this week. It's part of the Docker Hacktoberfest on the Meshery extension, which is to allow users to click a button in Meshery UI to then deploy a Meshery adapter. And in this case, so Harshit on his machine, in his Meshery deployment, he doesn't have any adapters deployed, but he might want to, and he can click on configure settings and then try to connect to an adapter if he has deployed one. He hasn't though, so he'd have to leave Meshery UI, go somewhere else, and then do his deployment in whatever style he wants to do it. Yeah, Harshit, that might be that recently open feature request might dovetail into what you're saying here about, just getting the user one further step along, like, you don't have any adapters. Did you want to configure settings? Here's some buttons to enable the adapters. Maybe.
Yeah, I think you are right. But I mean, the page should, express the configuration whole, that what this page is. So that should be in the page for the configuration. And for life cycle, I think if I don't have a adapter loaded, so it should say something like that I no adapter found here in a life cycle page itself. It's showing in the, if I'm here, it's showing the adapter is not available, but in a life cycle page, it's not showing. It's just showing the configure button in the center, and that's looking odd to me, I think. It's just a configuration settings page in a center. So we should have something for this. So yeah, Abhi, you want to say something?
Yeah, agree. Hmm. Thank you, Harshit. Moving to Gaurav or Pankaj about Meshery 0.7 plannings.
Yeah, let me share my screen. So, so currently we are at .6.9 for Meshery, and for .7 Meshery version. So the whole Meshery UI is being refactored using some set of new principles using state management, Redux as a state management tool, and Material UI, as well as React 17 for this whole Meshery UI refactoring. So I wanted to have a demo of the what is the current state of Meshery UI, but I am getting this some kind of capabilities on the meshery-ui restructuring branch. So since Yash is not on the call, I grabbed one of his video from Slack.
I can, sorry to interrupt you, but I can share. I just came.
Yeah, that would be much better.
Yeah. Wait a second. So I hope my screen is visible. So the current state is like we have mostly made all of the components as of now. Some are left. Let's show you real quick. There are not much left as I went again through all the components which might be left are these two, and I think one more is left. Pankaj is working on it. Other than that, then most of the components are done working on. Some other other things we need to work on is the connecting the life cycle to the backend. It is static right now. We need to connect it to the server for to show different page for every adapter. And I've also made GraphQL subscriptions for adapters for all the configurations. I also have open PR for that. And for the filters, I guess it's there are open PRs by Subedy, and let me find them real quick. Yeah, open PR by Subedy. I think that's the one PR that would show the filters page. I've also made the profiles page. You can't see all the data because I don't have the server running right now. Sorry for that. And the performance dashboard page, there's room for PR. I've also asked for for changes for Leonard. I guess is not that active right now. He might come back again for that. And all the found the issue right now. And I've also made the settings page. It is connected to I connected we made the whole part, all the components. If we have the server running, we would be able to show. But most of the states, the global states like the K8s configs and the adapters, we have not made them as of now. We have to make the work on the Redux part. It needs a lot of work as of now. The notification center also needs a lot of work. It is not connected to the server to show all the notifications which needs to be there. And I also the preferences page is also done. Just needs to be connected to the server. I guess there's nothing else that's left right now. Anyone any questions that I might answer? So if someone
Yeah,
wants
so-
to work.
So yeah. So Yash, there's a number of people who should. So Gaurav and Harshit and Harkirat and Pranav, and there's a long list of folks who contribute here. I wonder if they might be digesting at the moment. I've got a question or two. Did we end up getting? We have something of a theme, an MUI theme in this branch. Is that right?
Yeah. We have that.
Okay. And then just to recap, this branch includes a new version of React. I think we were shooting for, if I recall, I thought we were shooting for React. Oh boy, geez, man.
So 18.
Yeah.
We can't
17.
support React 18. Because right now, because it's not MUI data table is not compatible with that right now. We use it at a number of places. We can shift from that to use simple MUI, but that would increase a lot of work. But we can it is compatible with React 17 right now. But there are some other libraries that are not compatible with React 18.
And React 19, is it here already?
I guess not. No.
Okay, I'm just misremembering. Okay, so we're still aiming for 17. Okay, 1702. Okay, MUI 5, React 17, Next.js 11, or was it something?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's okay. Yeah, do you remember what Next.js version it is?
It's
Yeah,
12.
let me
12.
find.
It's 12.
That's great.
Yeah.
So for others on the call, like you might not have had time to assess just yet, but or Yash, like how much work to cut over like is left? I know you said.
Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, the most of the work that's left is on Redux and a little connecting to the server. Other than that, most of the work is done or have open PRs.
So if you go to context switcher and just hover it or click.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of more issues that are over there. So yeah, let me conclude this thing. So yeah, as Yash demoed the meshery UI refactoring 7. So we need more volunteers on this particular UI refactoring area. So if you are into React or wants to contribute to meshery UI, so this is a very good item to contribute, and this will also help you to understand meshery UI code base more efficiently. So yeah, you can comment in this thing state management or this thing refactoring docs. Add your name over here and list any of the component. So yeah, that was all.
If anyone have any questions, you can ask me on Slack.
Thank you, Gaurav and Yash. Yeah, if someone has any question, please call it on Slack. And moving to the next item, Subedy is there, right?
No,
I got
he's-
the notification that
think-
he has.
Yeah, he's out.
Okay, sure. Then divine new compatibility matrix design.
Okay, I'll just share my screen now.
If you would, that'd be great.
Yeah, please.
All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yep. No time to waste.
Hello. All right, can you guys see my screen? So I and Aditya were working on moving the compatibility matrix to be more easier for the users to access. So this is what the old one was like. So the compatibility matrix had some platform and different versions listed out, and there were lots of spaces beside them. So we moved up the main compatibility matrix, and Lee has asked us to take out these versions. Let me try and play this. Okay, so this is the current behavior. So when you click on it, it's supposed to change to the either Kubernetes or Docker or Mac or Windows with their different versions, but we'll be taking out the versions for now. And then it says compatibility matrix not yet available for anyone who doesn't have a compatibility matrix yet. Currently, it's only just Kubernetes that has compatibility matrix that can be shown, but we'll be taking out the different other versions on this. Okay, that's all I have for now.
Yeah, do people have feedback? That there's a link to the current compatibility matrix inside of Meshery docs in the Zoom chat. So you can see the compatibility matrix that we have today is a bit split across 2 pages. So the 2 pages, there's one page called compatibility matrix, and you can see the resemblance of the current implementation to what Divine was just showing. Part of what what he's trying to do is distill a lot of details into a high-level summary like this, but acknowledge that it isn't just Kubernetes compatibility that is being tracked or tested. And it's a little, it certainly is a matrix. It's a matrix of matrices, if you really get into it, which has to deal with the fact that Meshery has a stable release channel, an edge release channel, which I don't know if these are working at, okay, they're kind of, I guess they are working. There's an open issue about this. We also, it would be great if this was sortable too. We're missing the console item. There's a number of things that contributors can jump into and assist on. And that's actually what Divine is calling out is there's a design that's going to take this page and the contents of this page. There's a supported platforms page. So this supported platforms and the compatibility matrix of the design that Divine has just shown, it really brings the information on these 2 pages together and collapses them into one compatibility matrix page, which is quite nice. And so he's calling for not only feedback, but he's also calling for a contributor that might want to take this on. He'll be opening up a GitHub issue a little later today. And so feedback, questions, volunteers. So one of the individuals in the community that actually just wrapped up a GSOC internship here, Aditya Subedy, he's put a lot of time into the implementation of these pages. So he's a good person to collaborate with. The data that, or the source of the data for these charts comes from each of the GitHub workflows that are executed across all of the pull requests for Meshery server, Meshery adapters. As those end-to-end tests conclude, or those integration tests conclude, that data, the results of those tests are populated here. And you can begin to see details of the specific tests, or if you want to go back in history for a specific adapter and whether it was the stable or edge release, you can go in and look at that. There's a little more, despite all of the data that's here, there's still some that's missing. If you'll notice, so Ashish Tiwari was pointing this out yesterday. If you'll notice that there's there's a matrix of, or there's a test matrix of different Kubernetes versions that are run and used for compatibility testing in each of these tests, although only one version is being shown. And so we need to expand this row to show results for each of the versions that are being tested. So it's a pretty interesting area, a lot of data to work with and present. And fortunately, Divine has got a new design that's going to help make it more clear.
Yeah. Moving forward to the meshery and meshery dark theme discussion by Harshit.
Okay, so yeah, now as we discussed, as we are close to Hacktoberfest, I think I talked to you. We are planning to have a dark theme for a meshery and meshery docs as well. So yeah, we will need volunteers for this task. Honestly, it's basically a coloring workshop where the colors of these, we will discuss the colors of these components, and after discussing the components, we have to just fill it in all the other pages. So yeah, and we will then complete this dark theme. So yeah, I have to decide the colors and of the each component, how we will switch it. I'm planning to switch it with the global styles we have. That's what we used in a layer 5 website. So I think yeah, that's it.
We can also use MUI theme that would make our work really easier for the dark theme. But I think we don't have that much implementation in the master branch. We have to think about that.
Yeah, MUI theme, that's what we are going to use. If we don't have a MUI theme for each and every component, we cannot proceed forward and select a theme on the just basis of the switcher. So yeah, we have to implement the MUI theme first in our project if it is not there.
Yeah, so for the guys, jumping on it, there is already one of the implementation done by Harshit for layer5.io. If you can open Harshit layer5.io and show us the dark mode switcher. So kind of something will be same as that.
Okay, so yeah, here's a layer 5. So here's basically a switcher in which we can switch. Switch on the click, we are using a MUI theme here. We have decided the colors of each component in a single repository style.js, and we are fetching each color from there. And that's what I think we should also implement here to fetch each colors from a single page. That will be complicated. I can place the switcher and just switch the themes, but the colors should be inside, should be fetched from there, and that will be, we will face the issues.
Yeah, okay. By the way, Harshit will be breaking this big task into smaller itemized milestones so that anyone working on it will, get through those smaller milestones to achieve that bigger feature request. And he may put some initial work to, kickstart the journey towards the aim of having a dark theme in the meshery.io. So,
okay, so
sorry to interrupt. We would also might have to make another color file, because right now we are using all the defining all the colors inside the styling file only in the master branch.
we have to select a file in which colors from the fetch. If we are defining the each color from the for each component, I think this is not should be done in a project also, in a general project also, and we have to implement the single style sheet for a dark theme also. So yeah, I mean, I will kickstart this journey. I will
Yeah.
need a volunteers for that, and then we will proceed further. So that's it.
Yeah, great. By the way, you should be writing the milestones in a doc or in the issue request only. Also, I mean, Yash can jump into it with his suggestions or whatever he has to provide. Like he has also been working in this area, so he might have better suggestions over what can milestones be looking like. So, yeah, you both can huddle with each other and decide on how to proceed with it and write a plain simple doc that can be understood by any contributor and they can just start with it. Moving
Okay,
to the
great.
next item. Yeah. Thank you, Harshit and Yash. Moving to the next item, E2E test in Meshery. Ashish.
Yeah, so this was about adding E2B test in Meshery. So we have a core workflow which runs across, which is a callable workflow which runs across all the adapters. The results from which are then sourced for the compatibility matrix that you just saw. So I won't go over the compatibility matrix because we just discussed about it. So I made some changes in that core workflow. The core workflow used to mandate there to be an adapter for the tests to run. But in cases where we just need to test across Kubernetes, we don't need adapters. So I kind of generalized their core workflow to assimilate that thing so that we don't mandate the presence of an adapter. And one example of, as an example usage of this new core workflow, I added this workflow which tests this emoji-voter.yaml design, which has a bunch of deployments and a service and service account and all. And in the test assertions, I made assertions about service deployment, service account, and a bunch of stuff. So a while back, we had a discussion about the utility of this kind of test is that we can right now I've added so Harsh has just commented about why have I added a new emoji.yaml here instead of sourcing it from one single source. Actually, the idea is to have those things sourced from one single source, the same source that would be then used for Meshery catalog as well. And the idea here is that not only the single source would be used to source those things into catalog, but the test results of here, as you can see that design successfully passed for all the from Kubernetes versions from 2021, 22, and 23. I just need to add 24 and 25 as well. But anyway, so these test results can then be also sent back to the catalog so that on the catalog, we not only show them public facing designs, but also which Kubernetes version they're compatible with. And I kind of gave a reasoning about this thing. Like, for example, if you have a CRD, which is of V1 beta 1 version, and if you move from 1.21 to, I guess, 1.2 to 2.3, then that will break. So those things can be, so if you have posted that thing in a public facing design, those things can be caught by our running tests, which actually run on a nightly basis and also on a pull request basis on a bunch of things trigger those tests. So yeah, the point is that there is a utility to these tests, and this kind of we can move forward by adding more tests in adapters as well. So in adapters right now, we only test a bunch of control plane things. Like each adapter tries to deploy a control plane and makes a bunch of assertions, but it doesn't make assertions for other things. Like on this adapter, we need to make assertions for virtual service and those things as well. So yeah, those things are underway. We can go about having those. But meanwhile, this was the core workflow change and the justification for the change, and this is an example for that. And I will remove this emoji.yaml and I'm going to source it from the service mesh patterns repo that we have, and from there I'm going like I'll just iterate through that. I iterate through a bunch of patterns that we have there, designs that we have there, and then run the tests on each one of them. So that, like, let's say that one PR makes a change onto, so we internally delegate requests to Kubernetes by changing few fields here and there. Let's say that we mess up and we add some label, or maybe we did something, we manipulated the field in a way that might break something, so that can be caught in the pull request only. So that's the uses of it. If anyone has any doubts regarding it, I can go answering that, or I can move on to the next item. Anyone has any doubts regarding this? Okay, I guess no. So moving on to the next item, which is pointing out urgent bugs on RJSF form. So while we go on to having these public facing catalog items, and Antoinette is going to be using design configurator and mesh map to create these new designs, there is a bunch of things that is stopping us from moving to a completely functional design, which you can deploy and with which you can be more comfortable and more basically you can be more relaxed that this is going to deploy. So one of the things that I've been pointing out for a while is, which is the fact that I just clicked on application and these extra things got added for no reason. And this actually fails the deployment in a lot of cases, because a lot of times, like here, this is, let's say I go to Kubernetes thing and let's say I go and open a service. So if I click on a service, it automatically says allocate load balancer node port as false. Now this shouldn't be set unless and until you are using a load balancer. So if you try to deploy it, things would fail. Although I didn't manually check or uncheck this thing. So yeah, we shouldn't add any field which the user hasn't touched. And I think Avi and Nitish were having a discussion around how to circumvent this thing. If you guys reach to a conclusion, then just the core idea is that don't touch field that the user hasn't touched. Also, I don't think we should add the false by default if user hasn't tagged it. So we kind of need, I don't know if we would need I don't know how the UX should be here, whether we need two different kind of states here. One is the true state and one is the false state, and one is the user doesn't want to touch it state. I'm not good at UX, so if anyone has
like
better,
unspecified, like
yeah,
user never really,
yeah,
that
yeah,
those
something
are
like
3 states and checkbox only supports 2.
yeah, checkbox only supports to. So if you haven't checked it by default, it says false. But sometimes we don't want, if the user hasn't explicitly said false, we don't want to have this field over here. And not just for this field, I mean, a lot of other
all of
things
them.
also get added. Like if I click on IP families, the null got added. I didn't like, I mean, technically, yes, this form got opened, but unless and until I click on this and I manually do this, this shouldn't be filled automatically. So there is a bunch of things regarding this which make the make things a little dysfunctional. If someone is not a power user, basically they might run into these UX problems. That's the first problem, and I think this is a noted problem by Abhi, and he has been working on it. The second problem is that I still don't have a way to specify name and namespace from the left side. I still have to go back to the YAML, which kind of defeats the purpose. So just like we have on mesh map, name and namespace field, can we just add it over the settings field over here? I mean, I think this is a quick thing, but I've been saying this for like a month now. If anyone, it can be a good first issue, because to me it looks pretty straightforward. Just add those things, and I don't know how complicated things are at the front end, but anyways, that's the thing. And also, while you are adding name and namespace there, we also need labels and annotations, because like, let's say that I would want to deploy a service, and instead of selector I pass some labels, and now if I want to deploy a pod with those labels, I cannot, because I don't see the labels and annotations field here. So name, namespace, labels, and annotations, those 4 fields should be present on top of each workload that we have here. These are the two, and once we have these two things, plus the initial thing that I talked about, that don't include a field which the user hasn't touched, I think I'm like, I have worked, I have made a lot of designs, and I think that once we have that, I can be more confident in the fact that this design won't break, and there would be better UX, and there is a bunch of validation errors that we'll get rid of those, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of some feedback for UI people, and I have added these 3 as bullet pointers, and I think I'm just over 2 minutes, so I'll stop talking now.
Thank you, Ashish. Yeah, so I think those items need to be tracked somewhere, unless otherwise it will be, we'll keep forgetting to move back to it and fix those promptly. So I hope you'll create issue for each of these. and assign to someone whom you like. I mean, assign to me or someone else from the UI team. So yeah, I think we are over 3 minutes, and that's a good time to wrap the meeting. Lee, you have something?
Yeah, no, just Mario's last question there about like a feature request have a search field is, I think, resonates. Another request from Ashish to like try to parse through what's there. So that's, yeah, we should probably open up an issue to maybe to have people weigh in on that, kind of describe how it might work and things.
Yeah.
But that's it. Then other than that, yeah, there's so we've got an event on Friday that is just a it's a pre-Hacktoberfest event that introduces people to some tips and tricks on how to successfully contribute to projects around these parts during Hacktoberfest. So some of you will be giving some of those tips and tricks, I think. All right. Yeah, no, that's it for me.
Great. Yeah. Thank you once again for joining the call. And as the last reminder, and once again, we have the community meeting this Friday, and we'll be talking about the upcoming Oktoberfest. And till then, see you. Good day. Bye.
Thanks, Abhi. Bye.
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 Bye.